Okay, this is my re-review on Spider-Man 3. So the movie opens up with Spider-Man narrating as he's swinging through the buildings, and right after a quick recap as they show all the scenes from the first two shitty Spider-Man movies. The best scenes. It's best just to watch those things in the third movie than actually watching the first two movies. Trust me, Miss Cormier, you'll save yourself a lifetime of enjoyment. I mean, you'll save yourself a lifetime of misery. Without the misery, and your life will be so much more fun and spontaneous. Okay, so he says the kids, talks to the group of kids, says that the video of him is going to start in a minute, and he says no thanks, and Stanley makes one of his best cameos saying, you know, I guess one man can make a difference. Enough said. And he is looking at a wedding ring, and it's a little pricey. He'll get that when don't worry, he'll get the money when he gets the black suit. And he orders Jonah Jameson to double the money for the photos he takes, and gets an office job. Where after he beats his competitor Eddie Brock, who will become Venom, who also wants to take the office job, who he saves his imaginary girlfriend from a building, from falling off of a building, and a building, like, this crane crashes into a building after she's, her name's Gwen. She is Spider-Man's character in the comics, girlfriend in the comics, who her snap goes a little web latch in the comics, and he is saving her in this movie, who, by the way, was originally supposed to be Spider-Man's girlfriend in the first Spider-Man movie. That sucked. I don't know if that movie would make the movie better or would make the movie worse, but I don't frankly care. Anyway, so that's Spider-Man saves the girl's life. He finds out that Spider-Man saves the girl's life. He finds out Eddie is a new photographer for the Daily Bugle. So Peter Parker has competition, and he tells Aunt May that he's going to ask Mary Jane to marry her. And Mary Jane sees Mary Jane has a play that Peter shows up to, and he kind of brags out that his girlfriend to these two guys, saying, hey, Osborn and Stanley creepy and the watching the view of the show, and Peter is dead to Harry, because he knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and he blames him for his father's death, because he blamed Spider-Man in the first one for his father's death, because he found out Peter was Spider-Man in the second one, which is the best, the only interesting thing that happens in the Spider-Man 2. That in the elevator scene, when he's having a conversation with this guy that's having this funny conversation with this guy, and he says, it is the suit kind of itches up in the crotch area. Yeah. But other than that, the movie, Miss Coleman, if you have that movie, do yourself a favor and ask your husband to throw in the trash. Of course, then again, the special features on that are good. And the commentary of listen to the idiots who made that film. But enough talk of that. Listening to idiots like brag on and gloat how they made crap, it's kind of actually, it's this like says, oh, good job, John. We did a good job making this mommy film that Jake is hating. Oh, I want to kill those bastards. Fills my fist filled with rage and wants to politely strangle those bastards. I don't care if it's a woman or a girl. I don't care really who the fuck it is. Unless if this makes me laugh, unless the commentary makes me laugh, I don't want to kill them as much. Commentaries. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah. And also this funny gag movie where James Jones is on all of these medicines, and every time he says, like, yells, like, eh, like very confused. It's a little funny little gag that I really do enjoy. So now James Jones Jasons cannot yell in this one, which that would probably be a bad thing if it wasn't so funny and entertaining, because he doesn't really follow Doc's orders. I mean, and he also acts more like Jameson than he did in any of the Spider-Man movies. He's actually funny in this, and he's actually a big prick. Oh, and good at it. So yeah, anyway, and the costume in this one it's not like Spider-Man 2 when it looks like it was made out of spider silk, or it doesn't look like it was made from a stage play from that kids put on, like in the first Spider-Man movie. It actually looks like movie magic, and it looks like something that somehow and Spider-Man could make in this movie. So yeah, the costume looks fantastic. The red and blue costume looks fantastic. And the Black Spider has like this shiny, slick, shiny silk look to it that gives it a bit of an alien look. And it's more tighter on him. I noticed that. It's more tighter on him. And it looks very badass. And anyway, this is Peter actually, in another scene, he actually makes this nerd comment, says that the sounds about sound, it amplifies in the back, is and amplifies in the back. The sound amplifies in the back, and that's why it doesn't sound as good. And anyway, Mary Jane gets a negative review from a famous critic in the newspaper, and Peter tries to cheer her up, but Peter, being, nerdy and stuff, it's not so slick about it. More smooth about it. Anyway, and remember when I said that Peter told Aunt May that he's going to pop the question to Mary Jane? Well, for Mary Jane, for Peter, he gave Peter Aunt May gave Peter her wedding ring that Uncle Ben gave to her. And we have a little story about Uncle Ben and Aunt May when they were young. When he first asked her to marry him, she said no, because both of them were not ready and they were too young, so they waited. But she could tell that Peter is ready. Instinct. So anyway, this big party is thrown for Spider-Man, and Peter tells where he's going to show from, so Mary Jane knows where to look for him, and Harry's having a friendly conversation with Mary Jane, wondering what Peter is. After he got amnesia, get rushed to the hospital, and because he hit his head when Peter and Harry were brawling out, and really cool they chased each other. Peter avoided attacks, then Peter swung the spider web, and he was throwing pumpkin blades at Peter, and so Peter webbed this line that made Harry bump his head and bumped his head even higher on a metal pipe and Peter tried to do CPR on him, and Peter took him to a hospital, and so he's alive, but his memory is of Peter, of knowing Peter was Spider-Man, or thinking that Spider-Man killed killed his father. That's gone, and so basically he's a new man. And a happier one too. So Peter does this really stupid move and kisses another girl upside down, and that was their kiss in the first movie. Peter holding himself up, webbing himself, holding himself upside down on a web and kissing, and his mask got lifted and kissing a girl. That was probably stupid because he just did it for the crowd because the crowd will love it. And he kissed Gwen Stacy, who's also in Peter's class. Which, yeah, Peter's now in the doghouse. Because when then there's a scene when Peter has this like really romantic plan to put the ring in the champagne glass into champagne and propose to her, and he's practicing while he's waiting for Mary Jane, and then Gwen shows up, and oh boy, it's not good for Peter. She kind of calls Peter out calls Peter out, and Peter realized he screwed up big time. So honestly, I'm actually surprised that she didn't dump him. Peter's like looking, he's in big shit. He's looking like he's in serious trouble. I would be glad if I remember, be glad that, well, at least she didn't dump me. Because, oh boy. This does not sound like a good, I can't find any way to defend Peter in this situation. But I can't say it sounds completely out of character, because Peter is well known for a very smart guy. He's well known for doing very stupid things. And he would do something like this. But Peter, as much as he's smart, he's a bit of a screw up. So, anyway, so Harry doesn't have any girlfriends, and he has his butler in a scene in To Avoid Harry getting memory back. Here distracts Harry by tossing a basketball to the statue, and Harry catches it with his really good reflexes. And there's this anyway yeah, there's this guy that's also has ran from the prison, and he gets turned, the sand becomes the Sandman, and doing crime because he's trying to save his dying daughter that's really sick. And so during the celebration of Spider-Man, everyone celebrates Spider-Man's heroism. And after he kisses Gwen Stacy, that's gets interrupted because Spider-Man has to stop the Sandman. And Peter does what he should have done in the first Spider-Man film. Grab jokes. And have a bit of ego, and has a bit of ego as Spider-Man, which is what he should have had in the first one. And he says, "Jigsaw, pal, I'm the sheriff around these parts," and he said, and says, "You want?" And he says, "I guess you haven't heard I'm the sheriff around these parts." And Spider-Man gets punched with this big stand-up fist, and the door comes, and he gets knocked across the door, and he webs onto the truck that's moving, and he slides on the door and jumps right back into the truck and tries to take down the Sandman. And the truck, Sandman wins, and the truck gets sand, it's a lot of sand everywhere, and crash. And Spider-Man saves these two guys from drowning in sand, and also from the crash. And Spider-Man actually goes off and asking himself, where the hell did these guys come from? And just getting sand off his boot and his mask also. So anyway, one who's also on this date with Mary Jane, after this date with Mary Jane, before she gets mad at him, Peter goes off on his motorbike, and the symbiote that crashes that came from this New York gets onto his bike, and it's now in Peter's room, and when he's sleeping, it gets onto Peter, and he wakes up in the suit, does Spider-Man tricks, gives the black suit for a test run, and he thinks it's awesome, and brings a piece of it to Dr. Connors, and Connors wants him not to let that thing get on him, and when the thing binds, it can be hard to unbind, and it needs a host to survive. And it amplifies some of his character, Also, I'm not really sure if this movie knows what that means. Because amplify means things get louder. I don't know, I don't think this movie knew what that word meant when you were writing the script. Why not just say the movie alters his personality? Why not just say alters the DNA instead of amplifies? That would have made so much sense. Anyway. And yeah, they use the word... They use the word bind instead of bond. I think bonding would be better description of the symbiote, but anyway. And yeah, Peter takes down the Sandman second time and finds out that the Sandman kills his uncle and is reasonably pissed out of his mind. And he thinks drowning him with water will kill the Sandman. By the way, the fight scene's totally is like this fight scene will blow your fucking mind. The fight scene's, Peter swings at the Sandman. Peter, I guess they both bumping trains. The bumping, throwing each other in front of trains, and Peter's puts his head on front of a running train, and he's sanding his head off, half of his head off, and Peter's swinging, throws him and down into. This is when the throws him down, then fighting him in the air and swinging at Flint Marcos. I don't see why people would hate this movie. This is awesome. I mean, yeah, it has problems, but I think this is pretty solid. So, anyway, after we don't see, Flint Marko for a while, the Sandman, for a while, we see, Peter, turning evil and dancing. And he gets Eddie Brock fired. Eddie Brock wants the revenge when he takes the suit off and finds that Eddie finds out that he is Spider-Man and Peter are the same person. While he's taking the suit off in the bell tower. Yeah, somehow Peter found out that sounds is the symbiote's weakness. And And also, like, he gets dumped by Mary Jane because Harry Osborn memory comes back, and he's evil again, and goes to Mary Jane's house and threatens Mary Jane. Peter finds out that he's evil again after his spider sense tingles as he's leaving the restaurant, and he tells about the day that and he tells Peter that he's the other guy that MJ said that she met someone else, and he tells him about the day that she came over, and that she shows her the script that the play he wrote for her when he was in third grade or sixth, or anyway,